Travel isn't just about destinations, it's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabocha, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place. Whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Now it's time to talk travel and tourism, and today we're going to spend a while lingering in the vast open spaces of the Northern Cape. The town of Sutherland, renowned not only for its beautiful stark Roggeveld scenery, but also particularly for its clear, starry skies. They've made it a focal point for astronomical exploration in South Africa. And not only is the South African Astronomical Observatory located outside Sutherland, the town also has several other opportunities for amateur astronomy observers to enjoy. The tourism sector there has really grown to accommodate this fascination with the night skies. The international stargazing community who come to the area to use the magnificent telescopes, as well as those who just come for a break away from it all and a peaceful country escape. Now, early next month, UCT's Centre for Extra-Mural Studies is going to be leading a tour to Sutherland to explore the astronomical experience. So what we're going to do today is first find out more about that trip and about the aspect of what you can see in the skies above Sutherland. And then after we've had that conversation, I'll bring in a local tourism representative who'll tell us a little bit more about the town's visitor offering beyond gazing at the stars. First, though, on the line with me is Professor Patrick Woudt, Professor in the Astronomy Department at the University of Cape Town, a past chair of the South African National Committee to the International Astronomical Union, and most importantly for this conversation, the person who's going to be leading that UCT visit to Sutherland at the beginning of September. Welcome. It's great to have you with us this afternoon, Professor.
Thank you, Pippa. It's wonderful to join you today and talk a little bit about the trip that we're planning early September.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Thanks for joining us. Look, I mean, I know Sutherland has a tiny local population. It's located sort of in the middle of nowhere. There are vast empty spaces all around it. So the issue of light pollution is absent from the skies. But is there more to it than the absence of big city lights inhibiting one's ability to see into the sky? What is it that makes it so special as a place for astronomical observation?
So Sutherland is actually quite a special observatory. It's one of the darkest sites in the world where we have telescopes to look at the night sky. Yeah. And those telescopes have been there for over 50 years already. So when the city lights in the big cities in Cape Town, Johannesburg, Pretoria was becoming too much of a problem, South Africa decided to move all their telescopes in one location. That's very dark, yet still easily accessible from Cape Town. So it's only a 4-hour drive from Cape Town. But when you're there, the darkness of the night sky is quite remarkable.
Now, I think most people listening will have at least heard of SALT, the South African Large Telescope. But for the sake of those who don't really know more than the fact that it exists, do you want to tell us about why it is so significant?
Sure. So SALT is the Southern African Large Telescope, and it's in fact the largest optical telescope in the world right now in the Southern Hemisphere. So when you come to Sutherland and you see this telescope in the middle of the Karoo, it's quite a wonderful juxtaposition of being out in the Karoo but seeing this high piece of technology that allows astronomers to peer deep into the universe and look at objects that are intrinsically so faint that you need such a large telescope to see it. It's an international project that started probably about 20 years ago now, and it's really one of the main optical telescopes in South Africa. It's a wonderful facility to see, but besides that telescope, there are probably about 15 other telescopes at the observatory, many from South Africa, but also international partners are very keen to put the telescopes on the mountain because of the access to the southern sky and the darkness of the night sky.
Now, when you take this group through to Sutherland in early September, are they going to have access to actually get up close and to use these telescopes or get to see the facility where they're positioned?
Yeah, so we'll on the first day when we arrive, we'll look at the telescopes close up during the daytime. Okay. At nighttime, they will be used for astronomy purposes, so it's more difficult to access them at night. Right. But during the day, we'll visit SALT and we'll visit a couple of other telescopes on the site. And then in the evening, we'll use smaller telescopes, 30 centimeter diameter telescopes, to look at the night sky. And at this time of the year, the Milky Way looks particularly beautiful in the night sky. You can see a big band of stars spanning the entire sky. And there's a lot of wonderful things to look at with those smaller telescopes from that dark side.
Can you give us
a combination of looking? Sorry.
I was going to say, can you give us an example of a few of the things that you might be able to spot?
Oh, of course. So in the Milky Way itself, you can see star-forming regions, sort of regions of gas that you can resolve with these telescopes very nicely. There are globular clusters. Sorry, that's quite a technical term, but there are big balls of 1 million stars together, which you can see with those smaller telescopes resolve into quite a beautiful structure in the night sky. And we've chosen this weekend as well to be away from the full moon, because when the moon is up, you get a lot of extra background light, but it will be a nice dark sky, weather permitting, of course. I'm saying if it rains in Cape Town, but Sutherland was chosen as a site that is sort of seasonal, so it doesn't get the worst of the winter weather from Cape Town, and it doesn't get the worst of the summer storms that Johannesburg has. So it's really chosen to be a site that has year-round good weather, and so there are lots of things we can look at in the winter sky from Sutherland, and I'll be showing the people who come along the trip the various wonders of the night sky.
Amazing. I mean, what an opportunity to tap into your knowledge, to be on site and have the experience of looking at all of this with an expert by your side to talk you through it. Let's talk about some of the logistics. Prof, it's the 6th to the 8th of September, which is a Friday through Sunday. Besides the stargazing activities, the access to the telescopes, the tours and the input that you'll give, what else does the ticket price for the trip include?
So we'll meet up in Matjiesfontein on the Friday and then drive to Sutherland together. During the afternoons, both on Friday and Saturday, we'll go to the observatory and look at some of the telescopes. I will give some lectures as well about the history of the observatory and the context in which the Sutherland Observatory is placed within South Africa. So there's a lot of astronomy initiatives happening. There's, of course, the radio observatory as well, the Meerkat telescope, and one of the telescopes on site in Sutherland actually links to the Meerkat telescope. So I'll give a background to why what we do in the optical astronomy compared to radio astronomy, and why we need multiple windows onto the universe. So there'll be a number of discussions about the history and the context, the local context of astronomy in South Africa, as well as some of the deep sky wonders to look at. So I'll explain what we're looking at in the context of star formation and the history of the universe.
What an opportunity. Professor Patrick Woudt, thank you so much for filling us in on the details. So this trip is from Friday the 6th to Sunday the 8th of September, organised by UCT's Centre for Extramural Studies and led by Professor Patrick Woudt. You do not have to be or have any association with UCT. You don't have to be a former student or a parent of a student or anything like that. This really is open to anybody who is interested. The cost is 3,500 Rand per person sharing, or 3,800 Rand if you prefer a single room. Accommodation is included at the Sutherland Hotel, as well as some meals, and then all of that access to the telescopes, and to be able to see that with an expert, a professor of astronomy at your side, I think would just be the most fascinating opportunity. Now, booking for this is on web tickets. If you're interested in booking a place, there are still a few tickets left. You should be searching for Excursion to Sutherland when you land on web tickets. Go onto web tickets and look for Excursion to Sutherland, and you should be able to secure your spot. So that was, thank you, Professor Patrick Woudt of UCT's Astronomy Department. Now, of course, stargazing is not the only reason to go to Sutherland. The town is also very popular as a place to get away from it all, to enjoy the peace and the quiet, and perhaps have a bit of a digital detox weekend. And to fill in some of the gaps in between the starlight, I've invited Jacques du Plessis to join us, who speaks on behalf of Discover Sutherland, which is the town's tourism portal. Jacques, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you, Pippa. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. Obviously, Professor Wout's done a wonderful job of explaining the appeal of the astronomy side of Sutherland, but why else would one come and visit the town, Jacques?
Obviously, the stargazing, apart from SALT, there is the 2 private stargazing places in town, Sutherland and Sutherland Planetarium.
Okay.
And then obviously, in winter, everybody is phoning us, and when is it going to snow? So that is probably the most popular question we do receive, and nobody knows. Snow report, and what we can do is tell the people, listen, the snow report, just check the weather predictions. But we had snow the 9th of July, plenty snow, but that was the first time in about 4 years we had a plenty of snow.
Okay. Jacques, you're not afraid of cold temperatures if you choose to live in Sutherland. Somebody's just messaged me to say, I've been there a couple of times in winter and I completely understand why they often have crocheted toilet seat covers. This is known to be the coldest town in South Africa, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the coldest. I believe it's the coldest town, and certainly if you stay there, maybe for 1 night or 2 nights, you say it's cold, but then you leave again. For us that live there, I mean, maybe we get used to it. I don't know, but it's just very cold, especially at night, and the snow is beautiful to see, but when it snows, eventually the power goes. Yeah. The cell phone signals goes, and then the pipes are frozen in the morning. But I mean, it's an experience to experience the snow.
Okay, so stars and snow, 2 of the reasons to come. Jacques, obviously the growth of the stargazing industry and the astronomy and all the scientists coming to Sutherland to enjoy the beautiful clear skies has helped to drive a growth in the sort of tourism and hospitality industry in town. Not excessively so, but tell us a little bit, if somebody wants to come and visit who's never been before, will they find quite a variety of places to stay and places to go and enjoy in the evening when they've finished looking at telescopes?
Yeah, there's plenty of guest houses. I've been involved now in the guest house business for 5 years in Sutherland, and we're sitting with an occupation figure of about 80% in town, and so it's a very busy from a tourism point of view. And funnily enough, that we do get a lot of South Africans. And we do get a lot of foreign tourists as well nowadays, which is very nice.
Okay. Somebody's asking let me just interrupt. Carry on.
Yeah. Restaurants in town. And there is horse riding for, the people that wants to go out of the town to a farm. And then we do have the places of interest like the church. And we've got Sutherland on Foot, which is a guided tour that some guide takes you through the town. Then there's obviously walking trails, and then 4x4 routes and bike trails.
Okay, so if you like getting outdoors and exercising outdoors, whether it be on foot, on a mountain bike, or on a horse, there are lots of options there. I believe the bird watching opportunity is also something special to check out. So all in all, a real sense of getting away from it all. Our previous guest mentioned roughly a 4-hour drive from Cape Town, Jacques. Is it an easy access? Is the road in good condition, etc.?
Yeah, there's only one tar road going into Sutherland from the N1, and that's the R54. And the road is obviously tarred road, and it's in a very good condition. All the other roads are gravel roads going into from Fraserburg, Calvinia, Williston, and then from the Tankwa.
Yeah.
And, the people should just ask wherever they're going to stay if they know what the condition of the road is. The specific road is like, or sometimes after rain and snow, it is a bit of a challenge on the gravel road.
Okay, thank you for the heads up on that. Now, Jacques, if somebody listening to this is ready to book and wants to come through and experience the stargazing and maybe go for a horse ride on a farm and enjoy some lovely warm country hospitality, won't you leave us with the details of your website where they can find access to news about restaurants and guest houses and all the like?
They can have a look at discoversutherland.co.za, and then we also have started the Karoo astronomical.co.za, which is still in the baby feet, but I mean we get there.
Jacques du Plessis, lovely to have you with us this afternoon, and thank you very much for your time. Speaking on behalf of Discover Sutherland. So it's a great place to start if you're wanting to plan a trip. discoversutherland.co.za. There are links through to the various guest houses and B&Bs. There is an update on where you can eat in town, as well as links to the various activities like the hiking, the 4x4 trails, an alpaca farm, and more. So discoversutherland.co.za. The question that came through while Jacques was talking was, what's the lowest temperature that's ever been measured in Sutherland? I did a quick Google while he was chatting to me, and apparently on the 12th of July 2003, the mercury fell to minus 16 degrees in Sutherland. It's not actually the coldest place in South Africa. Going on who has had the coldest temperature ever. That, I believe, belongs to Maltino in the Eastern Cape, which has recorded minus 18 degrees before. But for Sutherland's records, minus 16 degrees in July of 2003.
Travel isn't just about destinations. It's about the people you meet, the cultures you immerse yourself in, the stories you carry home. I'm Relebogile Mabotja, and on my travel feature, I take you on a journey beyond the guidebook. Each week, I connect with fellow travelers, insiders, and storytellers to bring you the heart of every place, whether it's a hidden gem right here in South Africa or a dream destination abroad. Join me as we travel through conversations, memories, and inspiration. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.